Folks, welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. We have our first salt and pepper showcase of the year. Can you believe it? And it's a doozy because we have cute Kitties salt and pepper shaker collection to share with you today. Now, this collection is really something else, and you're not going to see it anywhere except for on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. It's a collection of 4 separate salt and pepper shakers, all with whimsical cat themes that could be yours today for the low price of $29.99. And we've got a little bit of everything, folks. We've got your hand-painted ceramics, your other hand-painted ceramics, but in a caddy, and then your cutesy-wootsy kitties, of course, and then the beautiful crystal cats. Everybody loves a crystal cat, right? So you do want to call soon because this set could be yours today for the low price of $29.99. But I guarantee you it's not going to last. Maybe not even till the end of the program. So Barbara says just get into it. She wants to try something new. She says cut out the small talk. Barbara, I'm pretty sure the people at home love the small talk, and that's why they tune in. Plus, I gotta see how Nancy's doing. I know. Just, folks, Nancy has a frozen shoulder. Now, she hurt her shoulder overdoing it in the handbell choir during the holiday performance. Too much. Too much with the handbells. And so now she's got a little bit of, therapy, some healing to do while that shoulder heals. And she says she's having a heck of a time getting her turtleneck off and on, among other things. So everyone at home, I just wish, I hope you can send your well wishes Nancy's way as she heals from that. And so luckily, Nance, we don't have any jewelry items today for you to have to wear and model. So you can just take it easy. Just take it easy. Right. Okay, Barbara. Barbara says get on with that. It's so hard to choose which one to start with in the showcase because I love them all equally. Just as someone who perhaps has pet cats, more than one, you shouldn't favor your love for one over the other, just like the set. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going right to the caddy. The kitties in a caddy. How about that? We've got what I would assume are, domestic house cats here. Now, none of the cats in this collection are, it's not a lynx, it's not a tiger, it's not a broad variety of feline. We're talking about your, the house cat variety, okay? And wouldn't you love to have this little pair of cute kitties on your dinner table, as opposed to an actual cat, which please don't get on my dinner table, cat. Can't have that. It's unsanitary. But sometimes it happens. I don't know where they get the idea. They jump up on the table, and then they think they can, eat the broth out of your beef stew. What are you thinking? And then your beef stew's done, and you gotta throw it out. I know from experience this has happened to me before, so I have to make sure if I have a beef stew that I properly cover it and ensure that the cat is well attended around the beef stew. Anyways, no cats on the table, but you can have this beautiful cat salt and pepper shaker little set on the table. Now, the way in which these are hand painted is really something. And actually, Bruce, if I could get you to zoom in here. So, these are a lovely ceramic set, but you can see the beautiful glossy glaze and then detail of the painting here is just so lovely. We've got Salt. Salt is this cat because there's one hole, okay? Now, you could technically put the pepper in here instead, but I like more pepper, less salt. You know, it's a personal preference. I don't really mind what you do. But technically this one is salt. And this kitty is mirroring the other cat. I love this orientation because it looks like they're, you know, brother and sister or something like that, cats. They're a fun little pair, and you know they're getting up to a lot of mischief. Probably trying to eat your beef stew. But the salt here has its tail slightly curling up on the side. Okay, it's having a seat with the tail curled with this gorgeous cornflower blue color. And then are these cornflowers, Barbara? I don't know for sure, but it's such a lovely tone that I want to see on my flower-themed, hand-painted, beautiful ceramic cat salt and pepper shaker. That's for sure. And so you go up, the tail leads the eye up to the beautiful flowers, all the way up to this gorgeous kitty face, right? And this cat's, it's pleasant. The eyes aren't, you know, wide. It's not scared. Ears seem relaxed. They're just happy to be hanging out on the table together. And then you go over to Pepper. Now, Pepper's got its tail around the back, okay? It's a slightly different shape. And you know, looking at it now, it's a tiny bit larger than Salt. So again, if you use more salt than pepper, sure, throw it in this one, because this one's just ever so slightly larger. But, you know, just like your cats at home, maybe one's a little bit bigger. Perhaps it gets access to food first. Could be a bully, I don't know. But I think these are friends. They get along. They're sitting comfortably next to each other. So you know that they've been acclimated if one cat came into the house before the other, right? So my favorite part about this is you've got a sturdy base. So these cats are sitting on a sturdy base here. They're not sliding around. But my favorite part is the fact that these cats can sit in the caddy. And the caddy is coordinating to the cats. So you've got these beautiful blue flowers with the green accents of the leaves. I guess this flower is just getting ready to bloom or something. But that way everything stays neatly organized on your dining room table, the kitchen table, the kitchenette, any of those. And you know where these cats go? Cats go in the caddy. And look at how cute they look in the caddy. So, gosh, I think if it was me, I'd probably pay $29.99 just for this set, personally. But there's so much more that you get with this fun set. Cute kitties. So let me move on. Next up, I'm going right to the crystal cats. Wow. I mean, the quality of this is so great with so few imperfections. It's like you can see through the cats, because you can. But that's just because there's no imperfections, because it's such fine crystal cats that you've got right here. Now, what I love about this set, not just the elegance, okay? Again, so elegant, I feel like it might be more of a special occasion cat salt and pepper shaker that you only want to put out for, oh gosh, Arbor Day, maybe for Groundhog's Day. Saving it for the special occasions. But you don't have to. You can put this on your dinner table in the kitchenette any time of year. And it's really going to class things up. That's for sure. So, what's interesting about this, going around the back here, you can see there's 2 holes in this one, 2 holes in this one. Which one's salt and which one's pepper? It doesn't matter. You could put either in either one. I think for if I was to choose for me, I'd probably put salt in this one. I feel like salt users they're pouring it on, they're shaking it. They're a little more, I guess, not as careful as folks that are putting on pepper. So this one has got a good handhold. It's got a good amount of heft. But when you're pouring the pepper, you're going to hold onto those outer edges here and then tap that pepper on. And I also think that because this one is in a seated, all paws on the ground sort of a pose, imagine this with a bunch of little pepper pieces in it. So the ground pepper would be inside this. And then you'd have a nice artistic sort of ball of pepper. And I think that would look really good in contrast with Salt and this taller, more slender model of glass cat. That's just me. But that's the beauty of all these sets, folks. You can put whichever pepper, salt. You can put paprika in here. Gosh, you could put saffron in here, but that might be a little wild. I could see myself maybe putting, I wouldn't put Italian seasoning in here or like a dry basil just because the holes, okay, it would just get clogged up. It's not going to work as well. So you want to put your finely ground seasonings in here. Right, so the crystals, okay. Now, these are handmade in Germany, okay? And you have on the bottom here one of the largest rubber stoppers that we've ever had on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. So all you have to do is pry this rubber stopper out, and then your refill takes no time because you've got so much space to fill it in. So it's very easy. Oh my gosh, and this one actually, now that I'm looking at it, this one has an even larger refill circumference. So this would take no time to put more salt or pepper in. So something to think about when, you've maybe got a lot of company coming over, you don't want to run out of salt and pepper, then not have time to refill it, and someone saying, oh, now my mashed potatoes are getting cold. Experience ruined, right? Not with this. Not with this. The crystal salt and pepper cats, our little crystal kitties. Again, they're also friends. Now, they're a little bit standoffish depending on how you want to configure them. They could be snuggled up. I like this. I think that looks nice. It's almost, gosh, almost looks like something that would be in a museum, because it's so artistically done. But you could have a configuration where they're facing away. They've gotten into a small fight. They're not ready to forgive one another quite yet. But, they share a household. They're going to have to make it work, right? Or maybe, maybe this one's over here on the table, and that way everybody gets a nice view of these crystal cats. They could be snuggling, though. There's not really anything very snuggly about crystal, kind of. But the way that these forms have been made in such a realistic way, it gives them a little bit more of a cozy, warm feeling than your, traditional crystal salt and pepper shaker like we've seen here on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. So we've got our crystal cats, right? Again, I would easily pay $29.99 just for this set. But you get 4. You get 4 different sets of salt and pepper shakers in this collection. And next up, I'll put these over here. I gotta show you these. Now, these cats are obviously best friends, and they have been for months to years. I can tell. They've got great attitudes. They're twins. They have the same sort of a stance. Now, I would guess that both of these cats are left-handed, just by the way that one paw's raised. And then you've got the tail detail in the back here. This beautiful, beautiful color. Now, it's kind of a brown cat with a white face. I've never seen a cat that looks exactly like this, but that kind of makes this one of the more whimsical cats in the collection. They all have a little bit of whimsy, but this hand-painted detail is certainly whimsical. These are your anthropomorphic cats, right? They've got the smile, the flowers in the hair. I'm surprised they don't have, overalls on or something like that. But these are really, really something fun and whimsical that you can add to your kitchen table, dining room table, kitchenette. Maybe just storing these upright in your purse and taking them into the office to then season your soups and salads and whatnot. The refill stopper on this is your classic rubber stopper, but it's a little bit smaller. Still makes for an easy refill. You can see the fine ceramic work, the detail in the cat hair here. So it really has some lines that make it look like realistic fur. Then a little bit of shading on the bottom. And then I just think my favorite detail is the face, the eyelashes, the little pink purplish flower on top, and then 2 holes here for your salt and 3 for the pepper. Again, they're the same size, so if you want to make 1 salt, 1 pepper, switch it up, don't get in the habit in your household of always having 2 holes be salt, 3 holes be pepper, and then, one day just switch it up because you're going to confuse the people in your household. But you know what else? Here's the thing. These are a work of art, obviously, and I might find myself in a situation where we've talked about this before on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, but I might want to use these as a way to display found cat whiskers. Now, you don't have to do this, and look, I shouldn't have to state the obvious, but once you put the whiskers in there, it does become a cat whisker jar. It no longer becomes a salt and pepper container, right? Because I don't think I want to eat out of that anymore. Look, I won't tell if you do and you go back to using it as the salt and pepper shaker, but these in particular would make for just delightful displays for your found cat whiskers. Let me see if Barbara, you have one? Yeah. Okay. All right. And thanks, Barbara. And who is this from? Mrs. Mistopheles. Okay. Basically what I was saying is you can take the cat whisker that you find right before you're doing your vacuuming or you're sweeping in the house, because cats do naturally shed whiskers here and there. And then you can just put it in, look, it's hard to see here, but I've placed the whisker inside of the cat salt pepper shaker. And so now I have this really nice display for any found whiskers and a nice organized place to keep them. Because I just don't want to throw them away. I get it. Mrs. Mistopheles probably appreciates you holding on to these. I don't know if she'd appreciate you bringing them into work, but here you go, Barbara. You go ahead and take that back. Okay, well, where were we? Cat whiskers, anthropomorphic cat, glass cat. Yeah. Oh, configurations for these two. You could have them, face to face. I kind of like that. I love the symmetry of the tails. I love how they're just staring at one another. But maybe it's a little too intense, like they're having a stare down, right? Like they're going to get fisticuffs, So there's frontwards, or maybe side to side, putting the tails together. I think everyone at the dinner table would appreciate this. Or maybe back to back, tail to tail. So, again, a lot of different configurations for everyone in these sets. But these are just so lovely. You're going to want to have them out probably all year long, but there is something a little summery about them, so I could see them being your spring, summer cat salt and pepper shaker. And that's good. Okay. Last but not least, we've got this. Gorgeous artistic set. And it's so 90s. I love how modern this salt and pepper shaker set looks. Now it kind of reminds me of that artist lady, and she does the cat paintings, and they got a lot of whimsy. We should get her stuff on here, Barbara. Yeah, anyways, what I love about this set is that it does look so perfect in a 90s kitchen, because you might have some of your ivy colors, your burgundies, and some might look at this and say, oh, that's closer to like the old 60s avocado green. But guess what? It's making a little bit of a comeback. It's nice earthy tones. Very comforting for your kitchen, dining room, dinette, whatever it is. These cats go together, though. They're best friends. Have been for years. Love each other. Could be a parent and a child cat. I'm not sure yet. But could just be a larger cat and the more petite cat friend. So with these, again, such beautiful ceramic work with gorgeous hand-painted details. Now, it's a little bit more figurative, right? We don't have the exact shape of the paws. We don't have, definition of cat leg. Instead, it's just a basic shape, and then there's a tail that's been drawn and that's quite long and curls around with some little brown elements of fur. And then this lovely cream off-white where it goes up into the cat face, which is just basic cat face, a little triangle nose, whiskers, little eyes, and then the brown accenting the ears. Now, I don't know any green and white cats. I would say if you did, then maybe you need to take your cat to the vet. But it's a beautiful color scheme for a salt and pepper shaker, if I do say so. And just looks so modern. Again, look at how they go together. This one similarly has that long tail with the lighter brown details. This really smooth, nice ceramic design into the cat face, cat ears, 3 holes for your pepper, 2 for your salt. Now look, you know what I'm going to say, folks. You could have these in a different orientation, but that would just be silly. Let's be honest. This is how these cats go together. I'm just curious though. What does it look like? Ugh. No. Yeah. Okay. Back you go. But how sweet is this? And again, it's probably really rounds out the different sort of themes that we have today for this cute kitties salt and pepper shaker collection, because again, this is more modern. This is fun and funky, 90s, very hip, I think. So these are your hip cats with the beautiful olive and off-white tones, and then you've got your, I don't know, these are more retro, fun retro kitties with the face and bows. And then you've got the crystal cats, the epitome of elegance right here. And aren't cats the epitome of elegance when you think about it? You know, just their posture, and they've got a lot of whimsy and fun, but there's also confidence and, I don't know, they can be a little aloof. It's hard to tell, but there's just something about the crystal cats that just makes a lot of sense. And then last but not least, kitties and a caddy. Gorgeous hand-painted details, lots of beautiful blues, whites. And all of these, all 4 sets come together, and they can be yours for the low price of $29.99. You can't beat that. I don't think you're going to see a better deal anywhere else, only here on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. So, Barbara says we have a caller. Okay. Okay, yeah, caller, go ahead.
Hey, this is Marcy.
Well, hello, Marcy.
Yeah, well,
nice to hear from you. How are you?
You've got what looks to be probably a Siamese cat for the 90s, the ones that are the white and the avocado green. And then I think the rest of those are probably just domestic short-hair cats. Now, I know because I went to go get my book about cats, because I was curious at what some of these salt and pepper shakers were modeled after. So, I prefer a British short hair. It's curious that all cats are, seated here, except for maybe the crystal one's kind of down on all its legs. But none of them are laying down or in a ball because, given that cats sleep a lot, pretty much what they do most of their lives, I expected to see a salt and pepper shaker here that reflected that. So some sleepy cats, right? So just curious as to why I didn't see any of those today. Now, did you know that cats also have great hearing? And they have a lot of ability to move their ears in different directions. So most of these have their ears on the salt and pepper shakers that you've shown today. The ears are pretty pointed up, but sometimes they can go in other directions. Now, I like to give my cat a nice spot in near the window or the French doors. Now, one, helps for the cat's enrichment because enrichment is very important to the cat's lives. But the other reason I do that is because of the sunshine. Now, my cat loves to snooze in the sunshine. Now, my cat's meow is more of a mew. Little cats kind of have a different little bit of the vocalizations that they make, but his is more of a mew. Now, he's a little bit of an older fella, and he does like to sprint around every once in a while. But he's not that fast. Now, most cats can run up to 30 miles per hour in a short burst. Not my old fella. I guess he's closer to 15 at most, but I don't have a radar detector, so I wouldn't really know. But I would guess it's probably about 15 miles per hour. Now, I believe he's also left-pawed, kind of like those the brown cats that you had shown. Just like dogs, cats can have a dominant paw. That's what I've learned from my book. Now, you know what my cat does love to do? He loves to sit on the couch and watch Gilligan's Island, which I think is so peculiar, but he loves that program. Now, it's probably because he's got a little bit of a crush on Ginger, but it could be that he's got a little crush on the professor. I don't know. He won't tell me. But it's kind of funny, I watch that program, the reruns they have of the Gilligan's Island, but I always wonder, why did they take their names off sometimes in the credits, but not other times? I don't know if that's when they recorded it later or what happened there, but sometimes it'll say in the opening credits in the song, the Professor and Mary Ann, but then other times it just says, and the rest. Who's the rest if there's only a couple of folks on the island, even though a lot of people will show up here and there for the different episodes. I just thought that was curious. Anyways, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'll be calling more this year.
Wow, well that's fascinating, Marcy. Thank you so much for calling in today, and we hope to hear from you again in the future, for sure. Yeah. All right, well, that's all the time we've got, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Cute Kitties Salt and Pepper Shaker Collection. Yours today for the low price of $29.99. Don't wait to call.